tell about a heaven in Alberta, where they've got all hell for basements. Yeah, I lost my way, but I can't tell about a heaven in Alberta, where they've got all hell for basements.
All right. Hi, everyone. Frankie here, New West Reset. Hello. How's it going? How's it going? Welcome back. Thank you very, very much for shooting in, joining a fella here for another one, another live one, as a matter of fact. New West Reset Live, episode 93, Sunday, November 24th, 2024. So hello, howdy, how's it going? Thanks for being here, eh? Appreciate it. Ooh, it's what a difference a week makes. A week ago it was 11, 12 degrees Celsius outside, which doesn't sound all that super terrific until you remember, oh yeah, Canada in November. Okay, that's not bad. Because that's, low 50s Fahrenheit, low to mid 50s. Nice and warm. Beautiful. And then, bam, old man winter just sneaks up and gives you a hoof right to the beanbag. You know what I'm saying? Just gives you the old 1-2 to the twig and berries. Taps you on the shoulder and sucker punches you with, almost a foot of snow. Like 8, 9 inches of snow. Minus 16 right now, which is in Fahrenheit 2 degrees. Yep, we went from 52 to 2. Went from plus 12 to minus 16. Great, fantastic. But, it's Canada, winter, right? What are you going to do? We're making up for lost time. Because usually it's cold and snowing already in October, at least around these here parts. Speaking of which, coming at you live as usual from Calgary, Alberta, up here in Canada land, southern Alberta, Purdy, Alberta. And she is a purdy piece out here in western Canada land, here in southwestern Alberta. The blanket of snow, it's very fresh. It's like a picture postcard. It looks like the outside cover of a Christmas card your Nana sent you when you were 8. Anyway, could be worse. Could have more snow or be colder or both. So, this is all right. This is all right. And it's really all right that you're winding down your weekend here with yours truly. So thank you very much for joining me here on this Sunday fun day, don't you know? Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't already, consider giving a guy one of these. It just kind of helps to push me out into the thing. It helps a guy out as we make our way to 2,000 subscribers, new friends here to the channel. Seeing a bunch of new friends, new faces joining. So thank you very much for joining in on the shenanigans here on the show. Appreciate it. Thank you as well to everybody who's already shared and subscribed. Really appreciate that. And if you're watching this after the live, hello. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for, I guess it's not Sunday fun day for you. It might be Tuesday hang loose day. I don't know. I just made that up. That's pretty good, right? Not bad. No, that's terrible. Anyway, today on the show, we're looking at Canadian rockets and Robin Hoods. There was a weird cartoon that was a Canadian cartoon. So I don't know if it was broadcast elsewhere, maybe in reruns it was, because that's when I first caught a glimpse of it as a kid. It was during reruns in the 70s. But it aired from, I don't know, 66 to 69 or something, during the whole moon race and all that, right? So we're going to have a look at that. It's the weird cartoon called Rocket Robin Hood. But before we get into that, let's say hello to everybody in the chat, in the box. See how everybody's doing. Wiley is here from Montana. Snowy. See, I hate to be the guy that says I told you so, but yeah, it's coming, right? It was coming, and boom, there it is. Lo and behold, Old World Mi'kmaq in the box. Quay, good to see you. Thanks for shooting in. Chassie Nix is here as well. Hello, Chassie. Hiya, hippie. Hippie shake. Hippie shake. Cheers, hippie. Vaughn. Good to see you, Vaughn. Good day. Yeah, of course. They're from down under. Vaughn. Deanne in the box as well. Hello, Deanne. Lost and Found History. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, good to see you again. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Really appreciate that. Say howdy in the box, like our old friend, Rothrods. Hello. I should go in there, eh? Mad Fiddler's here. Mad Fiddler. I don't know. It's more like an Irish lilt. Irish lilting, really, than a fiddle. A vocal fiddle? I don't know. I don't play fiddle. I do enjoy a good fiddle, though. Do enjoy good fiddle. Yes, sirree, bub. You know, I heard that there's snow in Kentucky. Can you believe that? Snow in Kentucky. That doesn't happen often. By the way, Matt Fiddler, the sneak peek at your midweek vintage footage that's going to be coming up this coming Wednesday, it's going to be right up your alley there. It's going to be right from in and around, kind of sort of in and around your parts. The 1902 Charleston exhibition. Exhibition. Dragon Sage, how's she going there, eh? How's she going there? Got any snow yet? You had the beautiful leaves on the ground a while back. Probably blanketed by now, I would imagine. You know, the white stuff. Terrific. Anyway, we're going to be looking at this Rocket Robin Hood thing. Got a couple of, we're going to look, of course, at the Wikipedia, right? Because we got to see what's going on with that stuff. We'll kind of look into the background of this cartoon. I remember watching this as a kid. It was one of my favorites. I'm not going to lie. I mean, outer space stuff, right? As a 7, 8-year-old kid, 6, 7, 8 years old. Outer space stuff combined with Robin Hood stuff. Come on, man. Come on. It's like an old-timey Iron Man or something. You know what I'm saying? I was a comic book kid, geek. I like the comic books. But I also liked, the Sherlock Holmes tales and the Robin Hood and his merry men of, of Sherwood Forest and whatnot. Just grew up with that stuff. Excuse me, having a sip of my water. Anyway, it was a favorite of mine as a kid. It's just another one of those weird kid shows that I like to explore here on the channel once in a while, just to kind of have a little bit of fun with it.
You know what I mean? All right, we're having a good time.
So a guy figured, hey, let's share this and see what's going on here with these shenanigans. See what the good people think of this. Right, Martin? Howdy. Hello. I don't even know if this was broadcast into the US when it was in reruns. It may have been. I don't know. Anyways, we'll have a look at some of that. Now, on the channel before, in the past, here on the live show, we've looked at other weird, I guess you could call them kid shows, although not all cartoons are for children. You know what I'm getting at, right? We've looked at the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, kind of made fun of that, most especially the Dudley Do-Right of the Mounties. There's a couple of suspicious stories contained with those little animated vignettes or cartoons. And we've looked at some other stuff. What kind of brought me to this actually was recently had a chat with Lucius Aurelian. And we were talking about science fiction and how it relates to the old world and how it relates to, the modern technology, the advancement of technology, how certain forms of technology may have been held back and kind of drip fed to us, but they may have behind the scenes, of course, right? They may have behind the scenes really advanced technology, and they're just giving us little bits. And we think, oh, wow, look, a new iPhone or whatever, right? Old World, Michigan, in the box. Howdy. Good to see you. So anyways, I had brought up the subject of these. I always try to bring a little bit of Canada-Nadia land into things. If I'm a guest on a show, or if I'm doing a live, or if I'm having a guest on my live, I talk about it from a Canadian perspective, and I barely have a grasp of that. So, but you know what I'm saying? It's part of discovering and poking a lot of holes in the official story of how we've always been taught that things are and were, and so on and so forth. Anyway, I brought in a weird, obscure kids television show called Read All About It. Anyway, the video for that chat with Lucius is on the channel, so if you want to check that out, just bippity bop over to the channel, and you'll find it over there. And also here on this show, I've talked about The Friendly Giant, which is another unusual children's show. So I thought we'd look at The Friendly Giant just as a quick refresher before we get into the Rocket Robin Hood. So links below for the Wikipedia of, The Friendly Giant, Rocket Robin Hood, stuff we're going to kind of hook our ocular sphericals onto here. But also below my location map, just click on the link there and my little icon pops up on a goggle map. And when you click on my icon, it opens up the side panel, and there's a link to the video of me doing boots on the ground, that very location. Cousin Vinny set that up. Did I see Cousin Vinny in the box? I thought I did. May have missed him. Anyway, shout out to Cousin Vinny. Speaking of links below, BitChute, MeWe as well. Guy's email. Hey, if you want to send a fella some photos there. Okay, thank you. There he is. There's Cousin Vinny. Because you know what you get with the live show, right? You get Cousin Vinny over here, and you get Frankie Fingers over here as well, too. Also, huh? So now you know what I'm talking about with the whole New West Reset thing. No. What? No. What I said about Frankie Fingers. That Frankie Fingers and New West Reset are the same. Wait, what?
Oh yeah, she don't stand no cheating. She don't stand none of that.
Scott Pike in the box. Howdy. Thanks for shooting in there, eh? Links below is also for, guys, PayPal. Any donations, hey, greatly appreciated. Much obliged. Also over in the Bumble, because as per usual, broadcasting simultaneously on the HooTubes and on the Bumble. It's that green fighting platform that you can't talk about on other platforms like HooTubes because they get upset. They get butthurt. But welcome to everybody on the Bumble and the HooTubes. So as mentioned, links below for all that song and dance. That's the business. So as a reminder, let's look at the friendly giant here first, and we'll look at some other stuff. Take a mid-show break. I'll give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek. If you're new here, or as a reminder, every Wednesday, vintage footage video, old-timey videos set to music. The older the better. With some Canadian content, of course, there, eh, buddy? Got to represent Canada land there, eh? Every Friday, boots on the ground, and of course, Sunday back here for the live show. That's my favorite day of the week. The weekend wind down with you good people. It's like, whew, oh, I had a week this week at work or whatever, right? Just, life, right? It is what it is. So it's great to join you and to have you join me. Without further ado, let's look at this friendly giant here real quick, just to start it off. Because, it's odd-ish. I do remember watching this show as a kid as well. It's not super weird, but it's odd-ish. And there's a lot of hints. And it's strange that these hints are in children's programming. No, funny turn of phrase there, children's programming, but there it is. Plain as the schnoz on your visage. Cousin Vinny, 2 full weeks now out in Vancouver, British Columbia, here in Canada, Nadia land. The new normie job doesn't make me want to delete myself. So that could have been worse. So always with the silver lining with Vincent. He'll find that silver lining. He'll find the upside. Yeah, when you've got to re-immerse yourself into normie land, it can be quite the pivot. The Friendly Giant is a children's television program that aired on CBC television. Oh, there it is. That should tell you right there. The government broadcast television, right? Canada's version of the BBC. From September 30th, 1958. I didn't even think we had TVs up here in Canada back then. Har, har. Through to March of 85. 58 to 85. Number reversal, little digit flip there. That's interesting. Featured 3 main characters, a giant, well, I should hope so, bearing the name of the show, named Friendly. So he was a giant whose name was Friendly, hence Friendly Giant. We're very creative up here in Canada. Anyway, played by Bob Homme. Homme is French for man. It can't be this guy's real name, but there is, Friendly Giant. He lived in a huge castle along with his puppet animal friends, Rusty, a rooster who played harp, guitar, and accordion, and lived in a book bag hung by the castle window. And Jerome, who was a giraffe. He was tawny with purple spots and poked his head in the window. So the two puppets were voiced and manipulated or acted by the same dude. It's originally aired in Wisconsin. So shout out to everybody in Wisconsin. Madison, Wisconsin. There it is. The Friendly Giant comes from Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at, Vaughn. Har har. I didn't think Canada had TV till the early 2000s, eh? Well, you know, it's allowed. I'll allow it. We are cousins after all, right? The Aussies and the Canadians and the Royal Commonwealth of the Crown, or former Commonwealth. Anyway, so it aired. The program started in 1953 in Madison, station owned by the University of Wisconsin. That's weird. Then it moved to its sister station. Okay, PBS. CBC in Toronto. And then they moved it up to Canada Land. And it was a 15-minute episodes, 15-minute show. And this giant would play different wind instruments, recorders and oboes and the like. But anyways, he lived in a castle. There it is. Up on a mountain overlooking a town. Only Americans aren't allowed to make fun of others. It says Lost and Found History rewritten. Matt Fiddler says Bob Homme looks like Bernie Sanders, senator from Vermont. He looks like Bernie Sanders, eh? Okay, sure. Let's see. Let's click on let's. Ish, sure. He didn't wear the glasses on the show, though. I remember that as a kid. Anyway, yeah, he would have these miniatures, a miniature set up, miniature village, and then he would stand amongst the miniatures and be this towering giant. And then he'd invite you up to his castle, and there's the puppets were up there with them, and they would perform music and read story time and, that kind of stuff. And it was all right. It was okay. But of course, with new eyes, looking back on some of this stuff, you're like, what in the Sam Steele was going on with this kid show? What are they trying to tell us? You know what I mean? So what I did was I clipped a little bit of one of the intros for the television show, because they're basically, the setup was the same every episode. They would tweak the opening intro a little bit. They would give it a little bit of a theme, like it's Halloween, it's Thanksgiving, it's summertime, whatever. And the Friendly Giant would give his spiel as the camera. Well, you'll see. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. Vincent in the box says, if I saw Friendly Giant written on a giant castle, I might not believe it. Yeah, why would you need to to advertise the fact I'm a friendly giant now? I just want to make sure that I'm friendly. I'm not the unfriendly kind that grinds your bones into a powder and fee fi fo fum and whatnot. No, I'm not that kind of a giant. I pinky swear. A giant pinky swear you. I'm not the bone powder making kind of giant. Please, won't you come into my castle on the mountain? Secluded. It's fine. And, nah, I'm just playing. Anyway, let's have a look at the little opening that I clipped from the friendly giant. Oh, this one's great because it's very appropriate weather-wise.
And look at the snow. Last night, down it came. A lot of snow. Oh, there's the plow. Good thing he's going through.
Let me know in the chat, in the box, if you can hear it. Okay. We appreciate it.
No cars have gone down this road today, but now they can. But no one else, not until some shoveling is done.
Thumbs up from Wiley. Thank you very much. Great. Good. Very good.
I'll have to shovel a path from the house to the road and from the house to the barn. I think the cows can make their own paths in the snow. It was to be a concert today, but I'm not sure that Angie and Fiddle or Patty and Polly could get to the castle in all this snow. Drifted right over the boot. Look up. Way up. And we're on our way to the castle.
So that's at this point. You can see from the beginning to this point, it'll have a different theme. So here you get the snow. And yeah, I agree, Chassis. Chassis Nix in the box says he went all out. Had snow on the miniature set. Yeah. And it didn't just look like that fake, plastic flakes snow, right? Yeah, I know. You can see how a child like a little bitty Frankie, just a little whip, would be just fascinated by the, oh, look, it's a giant, Anyway, and then from here on, he gives you his, the spiel.
Hurry over first and go in the back door so I can let the drawbridge down and open the big front doors for you. Are you ready? Here is my castle.
So that's him playing the recorder, or that hideous flute-like instrument. That's him.
Inside. Here's one little chair for one of you, a bigger chair for two more to curl up in. For someone who likes to rock, a rocking chair in the middle.
So yeah, there you go. There's the friendly giant, which, the guy just goes all out with the whole giant thing. He's not messing around. He's not half-assing it. The exterior set with all the miniatures, and then the camera slowly panning into the castle on the mountain or on the hill. But then once you're inside, everything is still miniature, except for him. And it kind of was, because they would play sheet music, Supposedly the rooster is playing the harp, right? And the giant, the Bob the Man, it's still strange to me, but anyway, he'd play one of, some crazy, like I said, like a recorder or an oboe, or I don't know what the heck these things are. Yeah, Chassie Hicks. He was Mr. Rogers before Mr. Rogers was Mr. Rogers. I think that right around that same time, maybe a little bit before. The other show, but it'll be for a different time, different show. But we had the Mr. Dress Up. I think I may have alluded to it in the past. He was kind of Canada's version of Mr. Rogers. And I remember being glued to that show too as a kid there, eh? Like Sesame Street. But then we get into this Rocket Robin Hood. So let's see what the Wikipedia has to say real quick here about Rocket. Rocket, I mean, let's face it, it's just fun to say. Rocket Robin Hood. So this may be unheard of for a lot of you, or maybe like, yeah, I think maybe I know this. It's kind of obscure. If you're Canadian and you grew up in the 70s or even the 80s, maybe early 80s, you'd be like, yeah, I totally know this. This thing. Anyway, Rocket Robin Hood is a Canadian animated television series placing the characters and conflicts of the classic Robin Hood legend in a futuristic outer space setting. It was produced by Krantz Films Incorporated and aired on, here we go again, the CBC television from 1966 to 69. So I think some kind of early predictive programming, getting people used to the idea of outer space and how, we as individuals are insignificant on this giant ball that's hurtling through this giant vastness of the universe that we can't even comprehend. It's designed to make us feel scared and helpless and small and insignificant and powerless. At least that's what I think. And the whole space race and all that was part of the whole thing, and the moon landings and whatnot. So it's right in that time period, 66, 69. We shall go to the moon in this decade. Blah, 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 blah. We shall do these things and others, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Right? So he leads his merry men, including the strong, dim-witted, ouch, and likable Little John, consummate overeater Friar Tuck, who designs all of the merry men's weaponry. Yeah, sure, why not have a peaceful monk, be the guy in charge of the weapons? That's always a thing. The thing in like Van Helsing, the movie Van Helsing, a couple of other movies, I think. Shut them out in the box if you can, whether it's an action movie or comedy or even a historical period piece, epic drama movie, right? Where the man of the cloth, for some reason, is the weapons guy. I don't get it. Set Meg in the box. Let's not forget Hercules, yes. Another crazy kids cartoon. I just like the juxtaposition of this. Let's take something like Robin Hood and combine him with outer space and rockets and jetpacks. They had jetpacks, man. Flying axe blade. Over on the Bumbles as well, they got his merry men right. I'm old school Robin Hood Brotherhood. But yeah, they got the Will Scarlet. That wasn't Nixon, you jackass. That was supposed to be Kennedy. It's yeah, obviously a terrible impression. Anyway, so Friar Tuck's a weapons guy for some reason, or just his cousin, his red-headed cousin. For some reason, they gotta emphasize that he's red-headed. So there's obviously some kind of meaning to that. But Will Scarlet, well, it's right there in his name, Scarlet. Robin's plucky girlfriend, Maid Marian. His sharp-witted right-hand man, Alan Adale, as opposed to the dim-witted Little John. Scrawny and feisty camp cook Giles, a reformed crook, and Gabby Hayes type. Yeah, the old cookie from the old Wild West shows. And other characters from the classic story of Robin Hood. They live in an astonishing year of 3000 on New Sherwood Forest asteroid and are determined to foil the despotic plans of Prince John and his bumbling lackey, the Sheriff of Naught. Naught being an acronym for the National Outer Space Territory or Terrestrial Territories. All right. Other villains such as Dr. Medulla, the Manta, Nocturne, and the Warlord of Saturn. Sheesh. Sounds quite formidable. Robin Hood and his merry men fly in spaceships and use weapons such as their electro quarterstaffs. Yes, I remember that. Each 22-minute episode is divided into 3 segments with cliffhangers between the first and second part and the second and third part. All episodes also feature short vignettes of the various characters. Like little introducing Friar Tuck, and then give you a quick little blurb. The male chorus sang the opening and closing themes for each of the 3 seasons in the style of traditional Old English ballads, mixed in with military marches. Well, of course, what better for children than to have old-timey ballads and military songs? Little kids love that. Nope, not at all. Not a bit. But it seemed to work. So it's produced and animated at Trillium Productions, animated studio. That was part of the Guest Group, Creative Group, owned by Al Guest. Who's this guy? Canadian animation producer. Okay. One of the key animators was Jean Matheson. Jean. The Canadian animator Matheson is listed as Columbo's Canadian references as Canada's first independent commercial non-feature film board woman animator. Okay, there you go. Kind of a big deal. Background designer Richard H. Thomas joined the group late in the second season and brought a dark, almost psychedelic feel to the production. Under associate producer for Krantz Films, Ralph Bakshi. There you go. Oh, man. A lot of you nerds out there, myself included, would be familiar with Ralph Bakshi. Well, there it is right there. Later become well-known producer. Would be responsible for, among other series, the animated film versions of Fritz the Cat, Lord of the Rings. The 3-season episodes were animated at a Ralph spot in New York City. Did the voice recording in Toronto. So there you go. Also association with Spider-Man. Remember that one? Remember Spider-Man? A joint Canadian and American animated series. So yeah, you have all kinds of crazy, adventures. The orbiting salesman. You got to know the territory. And first astral horse trade. Okay. Just weird stuff, man. The solar sphinx escaped from the pyramid and the tumbling of Tut in space, supposedly. Morgan in the box. Howdy, howdy. Good to see you. How's it going, eh? So yeah, very, very strange, interesting, unusual television series. What else do I have here? Oh yeah, let's look into this. What was it called? Krantz Films. Real quick here. I think there's a little bit of a blurbage on this. Krantz Films. It's a Canadian production company headed by American film producer Steve Krantz. All right. Cheaper to do it up in Canada, boys? Is that what it is? I don't know. From 1966 to 1974, it produced animated cartoon shows such as the Marvel Superheroes. Oh, there you go. Rocket Robin Hood, there it is. Spider-Man, a favorite, again, of a young Frankie. Sitting cross-legged, a foot and a half from the television screen. Watching Rocket Robin Hood and Spider-Man. Wonderful Stories of Professor Kitzel. I've never even heard of this. I'm going to have to take a detour to that at some point. And then Max the 2,000-Year-Old Mouse. I vaguely remember that as well. So the crazy thing was he did these cartoons that are supposed to be aimed at kids. He also did a bunch of adult-ish cartoons like Fritz the Cat and Heavy Traffic. 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat. Cooley High. Oh, look at this. Japan, the Space Giants. Again with the Giants. So that's a weird, talk about, I mentioned earlier, juxtaposition between old-timey Robin Hood and, futuristic rocket technology and putting those together for a cartoon for kids. But, this Bakshi guy doing cartoons for kids, but also strange adult-themed cartoons. It's just very odd. I don't know. Call me crazy, but it just seems a little bit strange to me. You know what I mean? Just a little, makes a guy think. Jesse Nix says, I'll have to watch at least one episode of Rocket Robin Hood. Just saved it to watch later. Yeah, you could find bits and clips, or I think maybe even entire episodes on the HooTubes, for example. It's, as a kid, of course, you're not necessarily looking at it in this sense that, they're, predictive programming, trying to get me brainwashed into the idea that get these rocket tech, and this is what it's going to be like in 1,000 years roughly from now. In the year 3000, going to be flying around in jetpacks and in like the Jetsons, little space cars flying around. His boy Elroy, come on, man. I'm not sure if or what space is, but I know that whatever, there ain't any Robin Hoods and jetpacks. There certainly ain't any Fat Friar Tucks and jetpacks flying around like Boba Fett out there. They fly now. Rocket Robin Hood fly now. Weird. Anyway, what do you say we take a little bit of a mid-show break, give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek? And as a reminder, every Wednesday at Wednesday Mountain Time, midnight, the stroke of midnight. Wednesday. Vintage footage. This one's a good one. This is 1902 World Fair exhibition held in Charleston. And, well, this one's 3.5 minutes, and she's a good one. So if you got some ear goggles, put them on, plug them in, smoke them if you got them. And we'll see you on the other side of 3.5 minutes. All right. Thanks, everyone. Cheers. All right, and we are back. technical difficulty. Beep, boop, beep, 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 beep. There we go. Fixed it. Sorry about that. Anyways, we're back. Welcome. What'd you think of that? Huh? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I enjoy it. I always get pretty psyched when I find some cool old footage. Flying axe blade over on the Bumble. Says this photographer has good pacing. Yeah, yeah. The nice panning, 1902. Pretty smooth pan shots. Oh yeah, that's Big Sugar, a Canadian blues-ish rock band. Yeah. Big Sugar. Hippie Shakes has amazing old footage. That was 1902. Not too bad looking. Not too bad looking. Anyway, thanks for joining me here. Appreciate it as always, Frankie. New West Reset. New West Reset Live. Episode 93 here today. Sunday, November 24th, 2024. Coming up on 6 p.m. local time, mountain time here in Calgary, Alberta, up in Canada land there, eh, buddy? Minus 18 Celsius. It's like right around, hovering around 0-ish Fahrenheit, 1 degree. Maybe let's keep it at 1 degree, just for fun. I don't know. We got a lot of snow here, but hey, it's Canada. It's winter. It's fine. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for winding down your weekend here with yours truly on this Sunday fun day. If you haven't already, give a guy one of these. Really appreciate it. Thanks to everybody for joining me. Thanks to everybody who's already shared and subscribed. All that goodness. Links for everything down below, including the Wikipedia on what we looked at, top half of the show, the Friendly Giant. Looking a little bit into this Rocket Robin Hood cartoon from the late 60s up here in Canada by this Krantz Animation Studios company. Very interesting. Very interesting. If you're just joining me here, you might be thinking, did you say Rocket Robin Hood? To which I say, yeah, it's the year 3000 and it's Robin Hood in outer space.
What?
Well, let's get into it. Get into it and see what's the dealio here with the shenanigans. I got the a little bit of a clip to have a look at here with this cartoon that aired 66 through to 1969. And then the second season, they started getting a little bit more psychedelic with the artwork. Of course, 1967, right? Of course, they're going to, not only they're doing the predictive programming with the space race and, going to the moon, putting a man on the moon. But also, the whole tune in, turn on, and drop out, free love, yada, yada, dirty hippie, filthy, dirty hippie, cultural laboratory created cultural movement. It turned out to be a big giant phony psyop thing. But anyway, right around that same time. And you want to put all of that into a children's cartoon and broadcast it up in Canada for some reason. It's really strange. Anyway, Rocket Robin Hood. Canada's got pretty close ties to the UK, of course, as I tease about very often. We're former members of the British Commonwealth, the former Commonwealth nation. Oh, lovely. I say, that's absolutely lovely. Anyway, so we like tea, and we have a parliament equipped with old world parliament buildings, the big clock, because you got to have that. Right on the river. It's just not the Thames, it's right there in Ottawa, the nation's capital. If it's not Indigenous or French, then it's British for the Canadian history, for the most part, especially in early history. But, right up until fairly recently, in terms of the overall timeline of around the 1500s to present, so they say, there's a lot of British shenanigans in Canada and vice versa. So, of course, we're going to have things like I mentioned earlier, Sherlock Holmes. But we had the Doctor Who TV show. I talked about that with Lucius Aurelian recently as well. We had the Doctor Who in Canada, as well as other British shows that would be rebroadcast on the CBC. But we just had some of the culture seep into the Canadian culture, eh? We're not just all about beaver pelts and maple syrup there, buddy. We have tea and whatnot. Anyway, it's ridiculous. And the Queen on our money and stamps. Scott Pike says Fred Flintstone goes to Narnia. Yeah, that would be. It's basically, basically that's what. Take something old, some old-timey old English tale, and slam it into the year 3000. And not only that, but put it in space, in outer space. Not the year 3000 here on terra firma, on the old Earth. No, out there, amongst the stars, right? How did Robin Hood and all the guys get up there? You need not concern yourself. How did they get the technology on Earth advanced enough to not only time travel ahead from Sherwood Forest to the year 3000, but then be able to live and colonize another celestial body in space? How did they do that? How? And then, get themselves from Earth, apparently, up to where they are. And colonize everything. But then do it all the same. Like, still have an evil sheriff and an evil prince, the sheriff of Not. Like, why? It's just very unusual. It's just weird things to put together. It's like, I got an idea for a cartoon for kids. Kids love dinosaurs, right? Yeah. And they like ray guns, don't they? I guess. Let's have a show with dinosaurs that have ray guns. They shoot ray guns. So I just wonder who's the guy in the boardroom when they're bouncing ideas around the camera. Hey guys, I got it. Let's take something old-timey British. What do you mean, like Tartan and Buckingham Palace and whatnot? Yeah, sort of. Let's something more British though, like and more old-timey, like Robin Hood. Yeah, good one. Robin Hood. And let's just throw it into the year 3000 and see what happens. I would just like to know I don't know. I just have a lot of questions.
Let me ask you something. How come you asking so many jackassy questions?
Well, they do fly around. They do fly around. Scott Pike asking angels. Yeah, well, yeah, it certainly didn't claim to be a documentary. That's for sure. But these questions are these questions are never answered. How did all this? Yeah, to where they are, outer space. Yeah, where? Like where? Oh, I'm sure there is a space dinosaur show. I'm sure somewhere out there. Hey, come on! If you just look at Japanese anime, I'm sure there's something to do with dinosaurs and space. There's got to be. It's absolutely ridiculous. You see what kind of nonsense we get into around here? So if you're just joining, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. If you're watching this after the fact, appreciate your support as well. Good to see all of you. Don't forget to do all the things down here. You know, like and all that. Thanks to all of you that have already shared. And thanks for joining me here on this winding down of the weekend here on Sunday. Right on the hour now, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, local time. Let's look at this little clip that I've got of the opening of the cartoon, the intro, if you will, and then a couple of those little vignettes that they talk about, you know, that explains certain characters. They always seem to highlight the same characters, though, whether it's the Wikipedia or the cartoon itself. But anyway, let's have a look at this thing here. Again, this is aired originally 1966 to 1969 here in Canada land. I saw it as a kid in the 1970s in reruns. I don't even know. I'm sure it went into at least the early 80s. Someone in the box earlier mentioned Hercules. It's another one that we should have a look at real quick. But first, let's have a look at this. This is a 5-minute kind of montage I put together. Clipped out some stuff that was kind of, it's pretty repetitive, you know, here or there. We can kind of pause it and comment and have a look at it as we go.
Come gather around me, space travelers surround me. Hark now to the ballad of Rockin' Robin Hood.
So please, once again, let me know in the box if you can hear it. Okay, if it's coming in loud and clear. Morgan, Isabella Live 2.0 says, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. Raise a mighty cheer beyond the earth, beyond the sky. Yes, beyond the earth, beyond the sky. Yeah, let me know if you can. It's coming in loud and clear.
I may well confound you, astound you, spellbound you with heroes and villains, the bad and the good. Watch now as our rockets race here from afar, for now.
Thank you, hippie. Appreciate it. Yes, audio great. Vincent, Cousin Vinny says, that's some pretty good theme music so far. Yeah, like there's like a lute or something. I don't know. I don't know if that is a lute, but whatever it is, sounds pretty good. And of course, the chorus of singing and the style of it's very old-timey. Very old, ye olde English singing, I guess.
With our Robin, we live on a star.
3, 2, 1, blast off! Band of brothers marching together, heads held high in all kinds of weather. With fiery blasts of roaring rockets rise beyond the earth, beyond the sky.
See, now this is pre-Star Wars. This is a guy flying around with a jetpack on. I'm not sure how he's able to fly around supposedly in space without some kind of space suit or at least helmet or breathing apparatus or something. I don't know.
Guys, at the side of Robin, take your stand with the gallant leader of the band. Send a joyous shout throughout the land for Robin, Robin Hood.
right? So that was the intro to every episode. And again, each episode was comprised of 3 segments, each ending on a cliffhanger. And they would have little video vignettes in between. So it was kind of basically broken into, they'd have intro, and then the first little act, if you will, then a little vignette, then the second act, another vignette, third act, and then the outro. And some of those little divider vignette thingies kind of would dive a little bit into each character. Of course, Robin himself, right?
Soaring through the far reaches of outer planetary space is new Sherwood Forest asteroid.
So it's an asteroid. They've somehow managed to. It's the year 3000, and Robin Hood and his merry men. I think actually they do say in the show that he's a direct descendant of Robin Hood, which still begs the question of technology and whatnot. But anyway, again, I'm just asking questions to which there's no backstory to how it's just here they are, the year 3000, they're on an asteroid, hurtling through space, kids. Watch this.
Fantastic headquarters of that swashbuckling cosmic highwayman of the 30th century, Rocket Robin Hood. Yes, here comes the one and only Rocket Robin Hood, gliding through galaxies in his search for star-shattering adventure. The interplanet.
For some reason, he's wearing space skis. I don't know why. Looks like they stole the part of this animation from some ski jumping cartoon. Anyway.
Villains quiver in their space boots when they hear the merry ring of his laughter and feel the blast of his mighty electro quarterstaff. Rocket Robin Hood, fun-loving astral adventurer in the astonishing years to come.
So then I guess he doesn't need the skis to fly, because when he flew away at the end of that one, he just activated the old jetpack and off he went. But see, he's got the electro quarterstaff, and he's got his bow and quiver of space arrows, I guess. Astro arrows. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the technology is. That's more up Dragon Sage's alley.
Rocket Robin Hood, the happy outlaw of outer planetary space, is a direct descendant of Robin Hood of old.
Oh, see, there it is. It's funny, even after 3,000 plus years, well, no, not quite, 2,000 plus years, a direct descendant of Robin Hood is still doing the exact same thing that the original Robin Hood was doing. And rob this gold coin, which apparently is still in circulation as a currency in outer space. But then he's going to rob it from this rich bad guy and give it to the huddled, dirty masses of the poor, right? That old story, but in space.
He's fast, with a joyful laugh, a ready jest, and a quiver full of futuristic arrows. Robin robs from the cosmic rich to give to the astral poor.
He robs from the cosmic rich to give to the astro poor. How about throwing us down some food? Gold. We can't eat these gold coins. Thanks, Robin. You think the local shopkeepers that are under the thumb of the evil prince and the sheriff are going to sell us food with this stolen golden space coins? Somehow I doubt it. These aren't Imperial credits out in the Outer Rim here, Pops. This is a whole different kettle of fish.
He's fun. He's fantastic.
He's fighting a giant purple space minotaur, people. I have no idea what's going on. Wow. Get him.
Robin Hood, merriest of the merry men in the...
Yeah, flying axe blade. Over on the Bumble says nowadays it'd be volcanic cosmic arrows.
The astounding year 3000.
There he is, the year 3000, fighting giant purple minotaurs in space. Lovely. Did Robin Hood ever fight a minotaur? I don't think so. Oh, here we go.
Strongest member of Rocket Robin Hood's band is Little John, the brawniest spaceman ever to rocket through the cosmos in the fantastic years to come. This Goliath of the galaxies has the might of a cosmic Hercules.
There it is, Hercules.
The brute force of an unleashed meteor, combined with a truly super weapon, the electro quarterstaff. Little John, whose great strength is tempered with a simple, good-hearted kindness toward all living things. Mightiest of Rocket Robin Hood's merry men in the amazing years to come, Little John.
Just lifting guys up over his head and then giggling at squirrels because he's dim. What would they say to be the in the article? Dim-witted. He's big-hearted but dim-witted. Big space dummy, I guess. I don't know. Morgan Tristram says yes. They must mention Hercules. Must, of course. Yeah, we should have a look at Hercules, the mighty Hercules cartoon here. When we're done looking at this shenanigans. I think we gotta look at Friar Tuck here next.
When the problems of Rocket Robin Hood call for heavy thinking, then it's time for the one and only Friar Tuck to come to the rescue. Some, like the wicked Sheriff of Knot, think him fat, foolish, and not worth worrying about. But don't you believe it? Friar Tuck, whose courage is as tremendous as his appetite, is just one of the astounding space characters in the merry band of Rocket Robin Hood.
He whoops your ass and then humiliates you further by laughing, gut bust laughing at you. But wait, why is he the weapons guy when he could just belly buck you into a masonry wall? I don't know. Very weird. And then this part coming up, they just show him gorging himself on food. And even as a kid, I remember watching this part going, it's just so wasteful. Why is he... Why is he... Mummy, why is he doing that? You know what I mean?
In the fantastic years to come.
There's pictures. This apple. Great healthy. Look at those. There you go. Over the shoulder. Yeah. Yeah, he does. Morgan says he eats gluttonously, of course, but yeah, Cousin Vincent in the boxes. I remember him throwing food over his shoulder after one bite. Yeah, so wasteful. You know, there's kids starving in, insert country name here. Africa, Asia, subcontinent of India. I said country, and I know that Asia is not a country. So now I'm backpedaling so as not to look foolish, but I'm actually succeeding in making myself look more foolish. So instead, let's get back to Robin Hood in space here, people. See, look how psychedelic and wacky it all is. Somebody earlier in the chat said they like the sound of the theremin. That's probably how they got a lot of the weirdo sound effects. Is, you could just kind of, You get yourself a, I guess, as most sophisticated as you could in the late 60s keyboard, right? And then you get a theremin. And just go crazy.
Arch enemy of rock.
You see, even in space, there's old world buildings, apparently. In the year 3000, they're still building castle-like structures that look like structures here on Earth from, you know, the quote-unquote Middle Ages or the Renaissance. I guess. Pretty space age looking crown though on this guy. He's just rocking that crown. Of course, you got to have that kind of mustache so you can be evil and you can twirl it. It's a very twirlable mustache.
Rocket Robin Hood is the cruel space tyrant Prince John, despot ruler of the national outer space terrestrial territories. With the help...
Sitting on his throne between two pillars, by the way.
Arch enemy of Rocket Robin Hood is the cruel space tyrant Prince...
Sitting on his throne between two pillars. There's other symbology in there, I'm sure, but I'm no expert.
Despot ruler of the national outer space terrestrial territories. With the help of the wicked sheriff of Knott...
The guy's got a periscope in his castle. Or is that in his spaceship? He's in one of his ships now. He lives in an old-timey looking castle, but he's got the most modern of technology when it comes to transportation. Pillars or fasces, maybe? They look like fluted, not fluted, what do you call it? Anyway, they look like pillars, but yeah, like fasces.
The Black Prince plans for that terrible day.
Oh yes, look at him wringing his hands like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons.
When he will destroy and conquer the entire solar system.
What solar system? If they're on an asteroid hurtling through outer space in the year 3000, howdy, Sherry. Sherry Ives in the box. Thanks for shooting in. Good to see you, Sherry. But yeah. Again, this guy just rocking that old-timey gold crown while he's got all this modern tech in front of him.
Well, he might, if it were not for Rocket Robin Hood.
Foiled by an arrow. I had the solar system in the sights of my periscope, whatever that means. And I just got to pull this here lever. And I'll be the ruler of what exactly? If you're going to destroy it, I'm assuming, with your doomsday device lever that you're pulling there. You'll be the ruler of what? Pile of cinders and ash, I guess? Anyway, don't ask questions.
Hood. Rocket Robin Hood, outlaw defender of right in the astounding years to come.
There you go. Rocket Robin Hood. Now, I'm kind of making fun of it, kind of, sort of, but I don't really mean to make fun of it. It was actually a very, again, it was a childhood favorite of mine. I put myself 6, 7, 8 years old. I'm just trying to kind of think back on it. But I know I caught it in reruns for sure. And of course, what goes better together than the merry men of Robin Hood and his merry men of Sherwood Forest than, you know, outer space? Who else would you put to explore the deep, dark outer reaches of the cosmos than a descendant of an outlaw who himself is, they said in the thing, is an outlaw. Okay. I mean, again, as a kid, you don't think of these things, but it was a favorite, but always very, again, as an adult, very curious questions pop into a guy's head, just like The Friendly Giant, just like some of those other television shows that I mentioned in the chat that I had with Lucius Aurelian, when we were talking about the link of the old world and science fiction, movies, television, comic books, literature in general, right? A lot of famous science fiction authors also wrote episodes of fairly well-known science fiction television shows from, again, this same era, the late 60s, early 70s. Sherry Hives says, men in tights explore Uranus. There you go. There you go. Scott Pike throws in, yeah, they're looking for Klingons. Oh, wah, wah. Oh, that's hilarious. It's too much.
Well, that's just silly. Silly, yes. Idiotic, yes.
Oh, you got to get silly with it. It's Robin Hood in space in the year 3000 with his dim-witted friend, Little John. They kind of made him look dim-witted. It lets the squirrel hop onto his electroquarterstaff that stares at the squirrel and starts giggling like a giant madman. Meanwhile, Rocket Robin Hood's flying on his flying space horse, spaceship, space motorcycle, space speeder shaped like a horse, so that he could launch explosive tip arrows at a giant purple minotaur from the cosmos. Again, you could see why, as a 7-year-old, a young Frankie would just be glued to the television set. And the TVs back when I was a kid were, they were the big wooden, it was like a piece of furniture. It was a big wooden cabinet that you would slide open a door in the front to reveal the screen. And of course, the knobs that you tick, 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 and you were lucky if you got 5 channels with the rabbit ear antenna that you would attach onto the back. Some of them, like the one we had, also had a turntable with a radio. It had a record player with a radio, AM radio inside, and there were speakers on either side. You just flip open the top, and there's your radio. Not stereo. This was pre-stereo, but you had your record player with your radio. That's what I watched. Rocket Robin Hood, and Hercules. Let's look at Hercules. Let's look at Hercules just right quick here, bud, just to see what we're talking about here. The Mighty Hercules. One photo. Great, thanks. Anyways, it's an animated television series based loosely on the Greek mythology character of Heracles. You don't say. Under his Roman name, Hercules. Really? Yeah, kind of figured by the handle there. But anyway, it debuted on television in 1963. The show ran until 1966, coinciding with the sword and sandal genre of films popular between 58 and 65. Each standalone episode runs 5.5 minutes, just getting right to it quick. And in syndication was aired either as part of a block with other cartoons or with several episodes airing consecutively to fill 30-minute time slots. Is it American? Oh, country of origin, Canada and the United States. So joint Canuck and America animated venture here. Cartoon features Hercules, legendary hero, who dwells in Mount Olympus. Villains threaten the people of ancient Greece, often in the kingdom of Calydon. Cylodon? I don't know. I'm going with Calydon. And Hercules comes to the rescue. When in serious danger, he puts on a magic ring which gives him superpowers. Once he puts on the ring and raises his fist, flashes of lightning, referred to as the thunder of Zeus in several episodes, strike the ring, and Hercules is then endowed with superhuman strength, super strength. He does battle with the nemesis, such as Daedalus, an evil wizard who is the chief villain, sometimes accompanied by his pet cat Dido. These guys that bring their cats to a demigod fight. Anyway, other villains include Wilhelmina, the sea witch, accompanied by her pet bird Elvira. Again, just leave it with a neighbor. You don't have anybody that lives on your street or around the corner that you can leave your cat or your bird with for a couple hours if you're going to be fighting Hercules. You think your plate would be full enough? Look, I'm going off to fight Son of Zeus here. I really can't bring the cat. Can you just poke your head in on Dido? I mean, cats are pretty independent. You can leave them for a few hours. They don't have to be let out to do their business. Can you help a guy out and just no, we can't. We can't check in on your cat. And then this broad with her bird. Look, I got my bird. Can I leave my bird with you? I got to fight Hercules. What kind of bird is it? What do you mean kind of bird is it? It's just my bird. I mean, what does it matter what kind of bird? Anyway. And Myrtis, who is invulnerable because he wears an iron helmet known as the Mask of Vulcan. Yes, Vulcan's a planet or a moon or something. Vulcan is the god of fire, including fire, volcanoes, deserts, yada, yada, yada. Roman religion. The Vulcan, I thought it was also the name of anyway, who cares? His friends and allies are Newton, his man sidekick, a helpful boy, Centaur, a boy centaur, who calls Hercules Herc, not DJ Cool Herc, just Herc, and has a habit of repeating himself every time he speaks. Yes, he's like Jacob Tutu or, Johnny Two Times from Goodfellas. I'm going to go get the papers. Get the papers. Helena, Hercules' girlfriend. Prince, later King Dorian of Calydon. Toot, a small satyr who vocalizes only by playing his syrinx. What? Greek mythology, a satyr, also known as a Silenus or Silenus, and Silene, plural, is a male nature spirit with ears and a tail resembling those of a horse, and apparently a genitalia as well. Whoa! Anyways, and as well as a permanent, exaggerated, well, there it is, erection. Right there on the Wikipedia. Them Greeks. Anyway, early artistic representations sometimes include horse-like legs. All right. Anyways, and a syrinx is like a pan flute. Just call it a pan flute, man. If you mean pan flute, call it pan flute. Anyways, Timon, a young human from, I don't remember, Timon or Timon. Simon with a stutter. Timon. Speech impediment, Simon. I'm sorry, that's not very nice. Anyway, Timon, a young human. I don't remember. And Pegasus, of course. Hercules' winged steed. Also atop Mount Olympus are Hercules' pops, Zeus, and Dodonus with his crystal rock of seeing. I don't remember that. Both often warn Hercules of the troubles going on down below in and around the kingdom of Calydon or deep in the Lernian forest. Lernian. So there you go. Hercules fighting ancient bad dudes with the help of a centaur and a flute playing guy with a boner. It's perfect for a kid's show. Perfect. Ridiculous. Phil Henry in the box, protect his ankle. Isn't that Achilles? The heel? Achilles heel? Hercules ankle? Is that a thing? Is there a Hercules ankle thing? That I'm just not aware of? Is that really a thing? Yeah. Newt and Toot. That's right. That's me, Herc. That's me. Wally says, I named my eldest son Achilles. Ah, there you go. The new character was very annoying. Very annoying. That's a good point, Cousin Vinny. Vincent in the box says, funny how we never get tired of talking about these effing quote-unquote gods, almost like they aren't just mythical. Yeah, because you think after a while, myth passes into, it gets pretty foggy and it just kind of passes into the mists of time. It's not all myths. Mythies. It's not it. But anyway. Not all survive, I guess. I'm sure for every myth that has successfully been passed down and survived, for every one of those, there's got to be hundreds or more that just kind of fade off, right? I'm sure they go somewhere. Yeah, come to think of it, kid shows are weird, man. They're weird. Let me give you a quick little example of what I talked about in the chat that I had with Lucius with this one obscure kid show called Read All About It. Read All About It. Where was the dang thing now? It's not on the Wikipedia? That can't be. Okay, the Wikipedia has everything. Gotta be more specific with it. There it is. Oh, excuse me. I didn't put the exclamation point because it's Read All About It. It's the news kid yelling at you as you're making your way to work back in the old-timey days. Extra. We talked about this kid show. I'll just cover this real quick because it's geared at children. And again, it's not to say that a child's show should not be sophisticated or interesting. I'm glad they're not dumbing down a lot of these shows back in the day, but there is some kind of odd subtext, if you will, to some of these shows. Anyways, Read All About It. There's a Canadian educational television series that was produced from 1979 to 1980 by TV Ontario. Starred David Craig Collard as Chris, Lydia Zachik, I don't know. I'm sorry. As Lynn, Stacey Arnold as Samantha, and Sean Hewitt as Dunedin, ruler of the galaxy Trialvaron. Can you sound like a more fake, evil, trying to hard to sound menacing? Trialvaron. Anyway, in the second season, Michael Dwyer joined the cast as Alex. Okay. Anyways, the main goal of the show was to educate viewers in reading, writing, and history. Each episode ran for approximately 15 minutes. Eric Robertson composed the music for the show, being filmed in Brampton, Ontario. Oh, look at that. Oh. All right, the premise real quick. The show is set in the fictitious town of Herbertville, where 11-year-old Chris Anderson inherits his uncle Derek's coach house. Yeah, an old world like coach, horse and carriage coach. Yeah, coach house. He inherits the coach house 7 years after Derek's mysterious disappearance. Derek is now legally presumed dead. That's a nice, lighthearted topic for a kid show. Anyway, sure, the premise is fine. No, somebody died. And action. Anyway, the coach house contains 2 artificially intelligent robots built by Derek, this uncle. Otto, a device which communicates by printing its thoughts on paper, and Theta, a talking computer with an integrated monitor. The terms of Derek's will stipulate the terms of Derek's will. The terms of Derek's will, stipulate that Chris can only use the coach house before he's 21 if it's for a worthwhile purpose. So he and his friends Lynn and Samantha start a newspaper called the Herbertville Chronicle, hence the read all about it! Exclamation point. In episode 2, the kids discover the coach house also houses a transporter, which allows teleportation to and from the galaxy of Tri-Alvaron. After inadvertently triggering the transporter, Lynn and Samantha are trapped within Tri-Alvaron by Dunedin, the despotic ruler of the galaxy, but manage to escape. This launches a season-long serial in which the newspaper is focused on unraveling a conspiracy headed by Herbertville Mayor Don Eden, the alter ego of Dunedin. See, I told you, we're so clever up here in Canada, eh? You see what we did there, buddy? Oh, yeah, eh? I saw what you did. Who wants to claim Kings Park as his own to get a rare mineral he needs to invade the Earth? The transporter is also able to transport literary characters into the coach house, such as the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, Merlin the Magician from King Arthur. Again, you got to have some old-timey, Old English stuff in Canada. And Captain Hook from Peter Pan. There you go again. I think Alice in Wonderland also, or is that American? Oh, no, there you go. University of Oxford. These characters sometimes help and sometimes hinder the trio's investigation into the conspiracy. Great, so you don't know if they're out to get you or not. So they bebop in and out of all these time periods through this transporter that they find in their missing but declared dead uncle's old-timey coach house, and that has 2 AI robots hidden in there. This is a 15-minute per episode children's show. Again, I'm not saying that 11-year-old, I'm guessing, 10 to 12, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids watching this, give or take, ballpark it, Not to say that it has to be, dumbed down for a bunch of stupid kids. I'm not saying that, but a lot of stuff to pack into 15 minutes. All these conspiracies and outer space. And again, what's with all the outer space, the galaxies, and trying to rule the galaxy, trying to destroy the galaxy. We got to save the galaxy. We gotta have a Robin Hood in space. Even though he's apparently an outlaw, but he's the good guy, which I guess follows with the original Robin Hood. But I guess he was an outlaw because the lawmakers are the real bad guys, the real villain. Because in the original story, wasn't it King John? No, King James was off on the Crusades, so he left his brother in charge, and then it just went to hell. It's like, oh man, there goes the neighborhood. Gets the Sheriff of Nottingham in there, doing all his dirty work. Morgan says the maze of Alvaron is wild. Lore Secord. That's right. Laura Secord helping the natives. Morgan says I watched and loved these shows. Ah, yeah. Okay, see, so you do remember this show. So I don't remember this show. I think I was a little too old by this point. Well, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you may have a point there. Scott Pike in the box says, so it's reality based then. Yeah, so it's reality based. It's just a lot to pack in. Read all about it, all about it. It's a lot to pack in for half an hour. That's all I'm saying. And weird. Again, just a lot of, it's like, okay, if you want to do the kids start a newspaper so they can investigate some conspiracy, do with the mayor or something. Okay. Maybe the mayor himself is just trying to embezzle some kind of, I don't know, maybe they found oil or gold in some new development or some mine or something. And the mayor wants to get all, he wants to get all the gold or all the oil or whatever. So he's got this conspiracy to wet his beak and siphon misappropriate funds and whatever. And the kids figure it out. Okay. But then you got to throw in this Dunedin character from the galaxy, and then he's trying to rule the galaxy and took over this town. By the way, he could travel across the galaxy. And he's got all this technology with this teleportation device thing. And he travels all the way here so that he can disguise himself as or pose as the mayor of this little town that they just let little kids start a newspaper business in this abandoned carriage house. It's fine. Uncle's been declared dead because he's been missing because of this conspiracy for 7 years or whatever it is. It's just weird. It's weird. Robin Hood in space and little kids being beamed back and forward in time by space villain bad guys. I don't know. Weird. So I think I'm getting ready to wind this thing down here. We're coming up on almost 2 hours here. Before I go, let's just leave this thing with a little bit of fun. Well, I mean, as if we haven't been having fun. Come on. Some of this stuff is ridiculous. We just like to have a little bit of a few laughs with this stuff every once in a while. I can't take everything too seriously.
You know what I mean? All right, we're having a good time.
But I think that I like to share this every once in a while. This guy. Share him here quite often. It's that guy from Boston with the funny signs and so on. It's just, just fun.
One of our $3 anus melts. Huh. Did you get that book? I haven't seem to have been able to find a copy of it. Oh, I got it at the Wong Fuking bookstore.
It's just amazing to me how many of these things there are. Oh, it's hilarious.
Some of you Karens out there could use this toilet paper. For sure. You could use it. Be honest. Oh, shit, a bridge.
Oh, ridiculous.
Go get your Nobody Cares hoodies in the shop. Great Christmas gift.
There you go, bud. Nobody cares. Nobody cares for Boston. There it is. That's the guy.
Edward was here? What did he do, Mary? Shoot you in the neck twice? When you get to a certain age, I can have one pancake and all of a sudden, Fat City. Please do not grab your own balls. We'll grab them for you. Where is this place? It's been so long.
Where is this place? Yeah. I would be interested to know.
Made in China? Everything's made in China these days. Hey, can you do me a favor? Yeah, next time you come through here, can you please try to walk? Just without walking? Anthony, how'd you get the flight so cheap? I'm sitting on the wing, Deborah. Sasquatch foreskins? No thanks. Seem to have been able to find a copy of it.
Shit,
I got no thanks. McDonald's, if I had a nickel for every time I've taken you up on this offer, I'd be able to buy the whole menu. Sorry, no milkshakes. At the moment, we apologists for the inconvenienced machine down for maintains.
There you have it. That pretty much says it all right there, doesn't it? That guy is hilarious. Anyway, before I go, just as a quick reminder, links below for everything we covered over on the Wikipedia. Rocket Robin Hood, the Krantz animation company, of course, the Friendly Giant. Courtesy of Cousin Vinny, my location map. The link for that below as well. BitChute, MeWe, guy's email, PayPal as well if you're interested in tossing a guy a couple of Canadian doll hairs. You know, just goes to the manicure fund, eh? No, not really. It's good. It's going to go to gloves. Lots of thick, woolly gloves. Mittens. No. And of course, the Bumble. So thanks to everybody on the HooTubes and on the Bumble for joining me. Appreciate it. Again, thanks to all of you for your support who are watching this after the fact, after the live. Really appreciate all your support. Good to see you. Give a guy a comment. Leave a guy. Let me know what you think of the shenanigans with the Robin Hood and the year 3000 hurtling through space on the asteroid of New Sherwood Forest asteroid or whatever it was. Sheesh. So that is going to seal the deal here for Frankie. New West Reset Live, episode 93. Canadian Rockets and Robin Hoods there, eh? So once again, thank you very much. Appreciate all of you. Until the next one, take care out there and have yourselves a good one. All right? Cheers, everyone. Thanks a lot.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.